Kickoff for the 2025 college football season is just around the corner. These are my best case and worst case scenarios for Oklahoma football this season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. The 2025 football season is quickly approaching for the Oklahoma Sooners. And, buddy, is it a big one for head coach Brent Venables and the future of the program today? I'm talking my best case and worst case scenarios for Boomer Sooner this upcoming season. And guys, as always, this is not a prediction. This is simply my ceiling and floor for what I think the Sooners will be in the 2025 season. Guys, with that being said, let's first start by taking a look at the schedule, because obviously the schedule greatly affects what your ceiling and your floor is, right? Not every single schedule in the SEC is built equally. We all know that, and maybe nobody knows that better than Oklahoma fans, because certainly you think about what your arch rival in Texas got last year and even this year and what you got last year in this season as well. It was a gauntlet. I mean, Oklahoma last season had maybe the toughest schedule in all of college football when it was all said and done. And guys, I got to say, the SEC, Greg Sankey didn't do Brent Venables and Boomer Sooner certainly any favors this season either. You open up the season in non-conference play against Illinois State, no big deal. Then week 2, you got the Michigan Wolverines coming to town. Norman's going to be an absolute electric factory. You may see a familiar face there, wink, wink. Either way, OU Michigan going to be a lot of fun. Then week 3, you're at Temple. Week 4, you open up SEC play. And guys, this may be the most important game for Oklahoma this season. That game against Auburn, really for both sides, that game against Auburn feels like such a tone setter in SEC play and a tone setter for what your season is going to be. I mean, listen, the loser of that game is inevitably in hot water. Like, I just don't think there's any other way you can look at it. The loser of that game is really going to be sweating. So you got that game at home against Auburn. Then you get a bye week. Then you have Kent State at home before you jump back into conference play. Of course, you got the Red River Shootout against Texas on October the 11th. Then you're at South Carolina, Ole Miss at home. You go to Tennessee, go to Rocky Top to kick off the month of November. Then you're at Alabama, Mizzou at home, and LSU at home to close out your season. So it's a difficult schedule yet again, guys. I mean, Michigan in the non-conference, opening up with Auburn. Granted, that's at home, but you still got Texas. You got to go to South Carolina and Williams-Brice Stadium, a team that kicked you all over the field last year. You got Ole Miss. I mean, again, I'm going back down the schedule. At Tennessee, at Bama, back-to-back is really tough. You know, Missouri comes to your place. We'll see what Mizzou is. And then LSU to close out the season. I mean, guys, you've got more than a few teams that I think you could argue are college football playoff contenders, like no doubt. I think South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, certainly. I mean, Bama and LSU are both the college football playoff favorites. Some people are trying to say maybe that, you got Texas, college football playoff favorite. And think about it. You got Texas, Bama, and LSU all on your schedule. Like, guys, here's the thing. 8-4 for Oklahoma this year, it ain't the same as an 8-4 for somebody else, right? Like because of the schedule, and it's so difficult, and there's so many pitfalls, and there's so many high-quality teams you face, like the record is going to feel, and I know Oklahoma fans don't want to hear that, but man, I mean, it is a gauntlet. It is a brutal schedule. So that being said, what is the best case and worst case scenarios for Boomer Sooner, guys? Best case for me, I've got 9-3. I don't think with this schedule that this is more than likely a college football playoff team. Listen, Oklahoma's a team leaving SEC Media Days I actually felt better about. I really did. Like, I think there's obviously going to be a surprise team in this conference. There's going to be a team that pops. Why wouldn't you want to bet on the team that's got John Mateer at quarterback, Jaden Knott at running back, Brent Venables manning the defense. One of the best pass rushers in all of college football, R. Mason Thomas, is up there in the front. You do lose Bowman, you do lose Stutzman, but I mean, you trust Brent Venables with the defense, and offensively, you're finally healthy, right? You got Deion Burks back as well. Like, you got weapons on the offensive side, a new offensive philosophy in Ben Arbuckle. In the best case scenario, guys, which for me is 9-3, I got 9-3 best case for OU. I think John Mateer is truly that dude. Jaden Ott is a plus addition at running back. Deion Burks is obviously a big-time guy, which I think he already is. You stay healthy. That's a huge part of this. Guys, if you have injuries again like you did last year, which I don't even know is possible to have that many injuries, because if you have a bunch of injuries, I don't know if it's something you got to look internally or the football gods just hate you at that point, but that's obviously drastically going to alter what your season's going to look like and what your ceiling is. But if John Mateer can be that dude, a brand new offensive scheme and system with some new pieces leads to big results, and then defensively, even though you lost some guys, the defense of the Brent Venables continues to be a strength for this football team. And I think, guys, when you look at the schedule, like there's some big-time swing games in that schedule that you need to win to have a chance to get to 9-3. You need to beat Michigan at home. That's a huge tone setter early. You need to beat Auburn in your season opener. I mean, dude, it just goes. You can't get a 9-3 if you lose to Auburn. I don't even know if you can get a 9-3 if you lose to Michigan. Like, I don't know that you can, because you still have those games again against Bama, LSU, and Texas. You probably need to win one of those, because the idea that you're going to go undefeated against the rest of the SEC slate, guys, the SEC is just too hard. It's just too – you're probably going to drop another one, right? That said, maybe some teams in your schedule aren't quite as good as we think they're going to be. Maybe LSU doesn't live up to the hype. Maybe Bama's kind of what they were more so last year. You already beat them last year. Maybe Texas you can knock. I mean, we know how the Red River Shootout goes. Last year was more of an anomaly. Typically, Oklahoma's owned that rivalry. Maybe Oklahoma can get their shot on at Texas, turn the rivalry back. I mean, maybe so. But best case for me, 9-3. I think anything beyond 9-3, I think they're a college football playoff contender. I don't think they're a team I look at and say, like, 10-2 or better feels a little too aggressive in my opinion. Worst case, guys, I've got 4-8. And I know, listen, that sounds like an extreme drop. This is as wide a spread as I have for any team in the SEC. Most teams, it's around a 3-game spread, 4-game spread tops of best case, worst case, kind of the separation. I think the floor for OU could be really, really low. Here's why. Because I think if things go south early, I think they'll go south in a hurry. If you lose to Michigan and if you lose to Auburn, right, and you're sitting there, what? Your schedule, you'd be sitting there at 2-2, right? 2-2, 3-2 going into Texas. I mean, guys, your schedule's so unforgiving that I think 4-8 could be on the table. Do I think it's likely? No. Again, my worst case, best case, these are kind of my extremes here. Do I think 4-8's likely? Not necessarily. But, guys, you know as well as I do, when you got a coach on the hot seat and you start losing games and you think about how toxic things can get, this thing could absolutely spin out of control. Because, again, it's just not a schedule that's got many gimmies on there for you, many weeks for you to feel good about yourself. There just aren't many of those. Hardly any at all for Oklahoma. So, worst case, I mean, listen, the offensive line is still atrocious. Right? John Mateer is just not quite SEC caliber. He tore up the competition he played when he's at Washington State. Maybe he's not cut out for the SEC. Jaden Ott, for whatever reason, behind a shoddy offensive line, can't live up to his hype and his potential. Deion Burks, same thing, can't live up to his hype and his potential because of, struggles in the line of scrimmage, John Mateer not being quite as good as we thought. It doesn't work in year one of Ben Arbuckle, and the defense takes a step back because you lose guys like Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, etc. Defense isn't quite as good and just can't win you games like it did a season ago. And Brent Venables just turns out to not be the guy. I mean, again, we know, guys. I mean, listen, nobody wants to hear it, but things can snowball in this league. Things can absolutely snowball in this league. So 4-8 feels a little extreme, but things could get sideways. You lose to Michigan and Auburn early. If you lose both of those games, it's going to be here's the thing. If you lose both of those games, I think the fan base is going to write Brent Venables' obituary. Like, I just think you have to win those games. If you're Oklahoma, you have to beat Michigan, a Michigan team bringing in a freshman, Bryce Underwood at quarterback. And you've got to beat Auburn a few weeks later, a team that, again, the roster, you fall in love with the roster, but they're coming to your place, and they've been wildly inconsistent under Hugh Freeze. I mean, they've actually been consistently not very good. So that's a game I think you have to find a way to win at home if you're going to have even remotely the type of season I think it's going to take to keep Brent Venables on the plane. Or keep Brent Venables in Norman. I'm getting my cities mixed up here. So worst case 4-8, best case 9-3. Guys, love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What is your best case, worst case for Boomer Sooner in the 2025 season? Guys, that's it all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, before we let you go, we're going to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is here to help you make every moment more. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. If you already have an account, FanDuel Sportsbook offers great promotions every day to all of their users. Guys, things like Profit Boost tokens, new features like Parlay Hub. You can build your own same-game parlay or choose from one of the popular SGPs already made for you in the Parlay Hub. Guys, if you haven't signed up yet, go to FanDuel.com/SECU to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/SECU and get into the action with offers you won't want to miss. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get that $250 deposit bonus when you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com/SECU to get your $250 deposit bonus today. Once again, guys, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. If you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.